Hello viewers, Super GT here. So this is a direct comparison between the controller and the wheel in Project Cars 2. So there's quite a lot of talk about the settings for the wheels and the controller. You know, does it work well on both? Now I've found some settings that do work on both. Fortunately, I do have a video for the controller in the channel already, so do check that out, and I'll come out very soon with one for the wheel as well. So here we go then, a direct comparison between the two. So wheel is on the right hand side, controller on the left. So running the Thrustmaster TX, that is the wheel in use. So as we cross the line, at the start of the lap we are directly level. So coming into the first chicane on the brakes, nice and early in a straight line, trying to maximise the speed on the way in, and then of course on the way out, pretty much level between the two. And then come to the second chicane. I find that the wheel is a lot easier to be smoother on, but then that is to be expected, I guess. And by smooth I mean on the pedals, so the brake and the throttle and the steering. So all three of those things, it is easier to be smoother, but that isn't to say, as we see there, that the times are pretty much level as we come out of the first split. That isn't to say that the wheel is definitely faster. I think if you have the skill level, you can be just as fast, on the controller you can on a wheel. But settings are very important, so if you have the right settings, that's very good. Now through this fast sequence of corners, pretty much level once again. So using plenty of the curb on the exit there as we come towards the very tight chicane. So braking on about the 100-metre board. As we go in, the wheel slightly ahead at this point. Now the chicanes are really hard to take on the controller actually, so again it depends on the settings that you use, but I found that the chicane is very tricky to be fast through on the controller, a lot easier on the wheel. So down toward turn 14, hooked up nicely, and then into 15, pretty much the final major turn on the circuit. We do have this long straight here. Used to have plenty of chicanes here, but then the current version just has the long straight. So the wheel is marginally ahead, but that's not to say it's 100% better, it's just that lap happened to be a little bit faster. But that's the direct comparison. We're going to take a quick look at each lap on its own, and first up we're going to have the controller. So I'm playing in the chase cam, of course, as you can see. I think the hood view is okay as well. I think those are the two main views for the controller. I mean, you can of course use the in-car view, but it might be quite tricky on the controller. The chase cam's not too bad on this game. Obviously, I think it is a sim game. It is better suited to having a wheel on the cockpit view, but it is definitely possible to play this game with the correct settings on chase cam with the controller. Actually, you know, with the controller it doesn't feel too bad once you get it right. It does take a while to get used to. It isn't a very easy game to play. You do have to be very, very patient on the brake, the throttle and the steering. The one thing that was very tricky, sometimes if you want to correct a bit of oversteer, can be a little bit hard to do that. And going through the chicanes, as mentioned before, the chicanes are one of the hardest things to deal with, especially the very fast chicanes, as this one is, as we're coming up to now. It's a very, very narrow and tight chicane. So braking on the 100-metre board. So going in over the curbs as much as possible. You can run slightly wide, but it took that pretty much perfectly actually, and didn't lose too much time. So the chicanes can be hard to deal with, but can be just as fast as the wheel if you know how to do it properly, or get a little bit lucky if you want to put it that way as well. So into the final turn. The car's actually, the car feels really nice through the turns actually. It does, plenty of people mentioned in my previous video, the chase cam does look like the car's on rails, and well yeah, it does look like that, but sometimes it is, or not sometimes, it always is fairly tricky to control the car, so it's not always easy. So now we're going to move to the wheel lap, which is marginally quicker, not too much though. You'll see that the steering inputs maybe seem a little bit smoother compared to the controller lap. So the wheel I'm using for this is the Thrustmaster TX with the 599XX Alcantara rim. Also using the T3PA Pro pedals, which have a very nice conical brake mod on them to give you a little bit better feel through the corners. Now on the exit of that turn, using all of the road available, and that's perhaps one of the advantages of the wheel, you can just really use all of the track available, and it's a lot easier to be more precise on the wheel, as you'd probably expect, to be honest. It's very easy actually just to drive out nicely to the outside of the bend and use all of the track available. But that's not to say, of course, that the controller is slower, because I think if you just simply have the skill, you can be just as fast, if not faster. Although I'm not too experienced with Project Cars 1, but from what I've seen, many of the fastest people in the game do use the wheel. So I think overall it probably is the better medium to use, but I think just if you want to play single player or whatever on your own, both options are definitely viable. It's coming down towards turn 14, hooking up nicely off the brakes on the final turn. Don't want to go in too early to this one. You can use plenty of curb in this, the Porsche 911 GT 3R Endurance. Very nice car for this track, actually works very well. So that's that lap done. It was a 146.1. The controller lap was a 146.5, not much of a difference. And there we go. So I do hope you enjoyed this video, guys. So obviously subscribe if you'd like to see plenty more content for Project Cars 2, and obviously leave a like if you found this video useful. I would like to know your thoughts on both the controller and the wheel in this game. So I mean, if you're having any trouble and difficulty with either of them, I can try to help you with my settings. But as I said earlier in the video, I do have a video for my controller settings, and at the time of this video coming out, I don't have one for the wheel, but I will be making one very shortly afterwards, so definitely look out for that on the channel as well. So thank you very much for watching as always, guys. Do let me know your thoughts, and I hope to see you in the next one. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.